Stewart Robson is joining me as we dive into the Bundesliga for a bit, Stu. And of course, we have to talk about Bayern Munich, because what's the Bundesliga without Bayern Munich? So far, so good for them, or for a certain man, Robert Lewandowski, scoring some serious goals for Bayern there. And I mean, he's no spring chicken anymore. We definitely know this, but it doesn't seem, that's for putting it nicely, but it doesn't seem like he's slowing down, you know, and he says that he feels that he can carry on for a long time to come. Is that how you see it, Stu? Because you know that when you get to that age, you start feeling things a little differently. Because it was only last year for you.
I was going to say, I felt them a lot earlier than that. But Robert Lewandowski has been and still will be an excellent striker for Bayern Munich, as he was for Borussia Dortmund. He's going to have to change his game slightly. When he was at Borussia Dortmund and in the early stages at Bayern Munich, he made lots of runs down the side of defenders. He made lots of runs in behind the fullbacks. He'd led the line sometimes as the only striker. He'd worked very hard. He tried to play with his back to goal as well. All those things you want from an all-round centre forward. But as you get older, you have to change your game. Cristiano Ronaldo is a great example of changing his game from being an out-and-out winger that went past people and got crosses in and did loads of tricks to a centre forward or a player that comes off the touchline and becomes a great box player. And that's what Robert Lewandowski has done. He's become a great box player now. His movement isn't quite as far in terms of his runs, but he makes great 2 or 3 yard runs, drops short to spin in behind. He'll go in behind a defender to come short to get that little bit of time on the ball. When players are running with the ball, he knows how to make those little diagonal runs inside the penalty spot. He's very aware of where the space is, and he's still a good finisher. Technically, you don't lose your technique as a footballer. What you do lose is your athleticism.
Yes.
So what you have to change your game slightly, and that's what Robert Lewandowski has done very, very well. He's changed his game slightly to make up for his lack of athleticism, or slight lack of athleticism compared with what he was before. But he's still going to be a great finisher. He's still scored all 5 goals for Bayern Munich this season. Their 2-2 draw against Hertha Berlin and then the 3-0 victory over Schalke. And he's got players in wide areas that are going to give him the service. Gnabry down the right-hand side, Coman down the left-hand side. 2 players that are young. They're going to be the future of Bayern Munich in wide areas now that Robin and Ribéry have gone. And that's going to be key to how Robert Lewandowski gets his goals.
Well, in talking about his, I don't want to say survival, but I guess survival of his career, or to prolong it as much as possible. I believe his contract ties him down till about his 35th birthday and whatnot. But he does seem to feel that he can continue for much longer after that. What do you think, given the fact that you said that he seems to have mastered this new kind of way of changing his game to prolong his career as much as possible?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's got to do. Like, he can play till he's 35 and still be
36.
36. He still can be a top-class striker. We've seen that over many years with many different players. You don't lose your ability. You don't lose your understanding of how to make the runs. You don't lose your awareness. You sometimes become better at those things. What you lose is that little bit of speed. But if you can make up for that with your thought,
your noggin,
your brain, your knowledge, then he'll still be a top-class player and a good finisher, because that will stay with him forever.
From one smart footballer to the next. There you go. But let's talk quickly about Kimmich there, back in central midfield. How do you see that?
Well, he's been at centre-half under Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich. He's played at right-back, but Germany see him as a holding midfield player. And I think at the moment, Bayern Munich see him as that. And that's the role that suits him best. He's a player that can get on the ball. He's tenacious to win it back. He can switch the play. He can make the right sort of forward runs when he needs to. So I think it suits him playing as the holding midfield player. And Niko Kovac is going to get the best out of him playing him in that position.
All right, thanks so much as always to Stewart Robson. And so far, so good, it seems, for Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga.